Hey guys, it's your favorite final girl and Mike.
Yo.
As well as our special guest, Jeremy.
Hey.
Coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slasher movies. Nick's out of town. So, like I said, our friend Jeremy from Fans of the Dead podcast. Yay. Hey, Jeremy. Is going to be joining us for another Giallo. 1975's strip nude for your killer. And I'm going to read the Blu-ray box because I don't speak Italian.
Boo.
Mike does, but I'm not even trying to find that.
You can always just use Duolingo. That's like the big thing now, right?
Yeah.
What is Duolingo?
It'd probably be silly sounding though.
What is Duolingo?
So basically you can learn a language on your phone.
Brought to you by Duolingo.
Yeah, but how you learn it? Do you just like that fast?
Yeah, a little bit. So like I'm doing like Swedish. So yeah, you go through.
Is it because you're very into that family?
Are you gonna
Bill Skarsgård and like his brother that's in Succession?
Are you gonna join a midsummer cult?
No. My grandfather was born in Sweden, so.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's a better place than a lot of places that people's grandparents were born, I guess.
Ohio.
Or like, Germany under like a Hitler's rule or something. I don't know.
All right.
Anyway.
I wonder where Emily's grandparents.
Not from Germany.
I'm just kidding.
Belgium Belgium mostly.
That's what they all say.
France.
That's what
a little from. I do have some from Germany.
Let me guess. With a vacation place in like Peru.
No. But I've been to Switzerland. So, as the 1970s wore on and audiences began to tire of the tried and tested Giallo formula popularized by the thrillers of Argento, Fulci, and their contemporaries, filmmakers sought to reinvigorate the ailing movement by injecting elements from other genres. Some took inspiration from the then burgeoning crime thriller movement with tales of organized crime and corrupt police officials, while others decided to sex things up by crossing serial killer thrills with salacious softcore antics. A spate of highly sexualized murders is rocking a prestigious Milanese fashion house. Ambitious photographer Magda, played by our favorite Edwige.
Yeah.
Also, I like it in this. It says Edwige from Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. Like she's not in almost every other Giallo. And her on-off boyfriend, Love Rat Carlo, played by Nino Castellanova. Yeah, from The English Patient. Team up to crack the case, but with the motorcycle helmet-wearing killer bearing a grudge. I think they meant to say clearly bearing a grudge against the agency's employees. It's truly only a matter of time before they too end up feeling the force of his wrath. 1975. You're giving it away, but sure. Your thoughts, Mike. Or let's let Jeremy give his thoughts first.
Let's hear your thoughts.
Well,
it's not a lot to say. I feel like this is going to be a short episode.
Well, basically, you and I have texted back and forth like our thoughts on the movie. It's I feel like by the time we got to the end,
I think we used like 2 sentences.
I just feel like I forgot what the motive was, like why it was just weird.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Mike did point out that they do cut in flashbacks at some parts. I didn't really know.
When the killer turns on the tap, it kind of cuts like there's a little flashback of the original dead girl.
However, I watched this
super quick though.
Eveline.
Yeah, but I did watch this like 3 weeks ago. So, I mean,
I like that the killer's like the Night Watch / Nail Gun Massacre, like hooded motorcycle.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same as a Night School and Nail Gun Massacre.
Yeah,
It's
always a chick. When you see
Welcome to Spring Break, which is also called Nightmare Beach.
I have one beef with this movie. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. The killer, the girl that ends up being the killer, looks just like this other blonde lady in the movie.
There were three.
See, he says that first girl isn't blonde.
headed.
She's strawberry blonde, I guess. But she's more blonde than redheaded. There's
two that I definitely.
Lucia. Whatever. Patrizia and
Doris.
They're all
Patrizia and Doris look
not only
exactly the same.
they look like the exact same person. So
sisters.
Yeah. Speaking, I thought that this movie, especially the last 45 minutes, because it's not that long. I think it's like an hour and 30 minutes. I could have fast forwarded through the last 45 minutes, just stopped on the kills, and I wouldn't have missed anything from the plot.
No, not really.
At all. I think I could have fast forwarded the whole movie.
You could do that with
no, specifically with this one. You want to know who some of these people are, but really only her motive doesn't make sense for anyone but the doctor and Carlo.
Yeah.
None of those, it doesn't make
sense. None of the models had anything to do with anything.
She was blaming the underbelly of the Milanese, because this movie takes place in Milan, but she was doing a send up of the fashion industry.
Well, maybe she should have said her sister was a model.
So
she doesn't say that.
The only explication we get in the movie is Carlo at the end in bed with Edwige, and he's talking about how they were lesbians together, and she was really mad that her sister got pregnant and was jealous because.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, so
all the way.
Anyway, get started, please.
All right. It starts off with a heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. And there's this great bush shot where a gynecologist looks like he has a mohawk because the lady's bush is right on top of his head. Am I the only one that noticed that? I was like, great opening shot.
You're the only one that opened that.
And he inserts that, speculum deal. And the girl wakes up while he's giving her an abortion. And we see some vaginal blood. And the doctor injects her real quick and gives her gas. And he makes a call on his red telephone. And says,
he's calling Carlo, by the way. He
needs help moving the body back to her house. So they're going to just put her in the bathtub and act like it was natural causes.
Well, didn't he gas her also?
Well, he had done it to have her go to sleep.
Yeah.
But then she died while having the abortion. Yeah.
So they put her into a running bath. Okay. And then there's credits and the city streets of Milan are going by fast. And then we see the doctor going home, but he's attacked by a masked person. However, we've already said it.
Masked.
Helmeted. Nice helmet.
By the way, it's Patrizia. So
Patrizia the blonde.
One of three blondes in this movie.
So the next day we see people at an indoor swimming pool, and there's a super hottie, the first blonde they're talking about.
This is Lucia.
And guys are hooting and hollering after her. But this photographer, Carlo, is
he basically tells her she has a magnificent face while he's taking a picture of her ass, and then calls her fat.
Well, he followed her for God knows how long.
I mean, for 15 minutes, it felt like for fucking ever.
No, he's leaning on thick, and she's not into it all until he says she's fat, and then she's all over him.
Yeah, I was like, okay, we watched you in real time walk by a bunch of people in a pool, walk to the bar, and order a drink. Other girl's
like, hey, Carlo, don't forget about me.
Yeah, and he just followed, but it's in real time. And I'm like, I don't need to see her do all this. And then him taking her they go in a sauna.
They go into a sauna where she sees that his camera doesn't even work.
The bar did look cool, though, by the way.
It was a nice looking
It's like a cool, 70s.
That girl that interrupted them earlier also comes in, but they keep on fucking. They're just fucking in the sauna. And it's now in the studio.
This is where I already said too. I already said
studio.
Yeah, this is where I said too much tits already, because we were when we did Invisible Maniac, we were like,
let's say, was it though?
Well, when we did Invisible Maniac, both Nick and Mike were like, I never thought I would say that we would watch a movie that had too many tits.
I didn't think it was too many. I thought it was great.
There were so many tits in that movie. I didn't even remember seeing tits in the movie because I got so numb to seeing them in that movie.
There's lots of tits in this movie.
There's lots of tits in this one because they're all models, but they're nude. I mean, they mainly I don't know why they're not modeling nude. How much
I think it's like trying to get the underboob. You're trying to be tasteful. You don't want to show
It's not tasteful though. They're taking their whole
And
tops off.
in Italy, it's
Whatever.
a little more relaxed. In Europe in general,
Yeah.
with titties, you know, they accept that titties are great and should be part of everyday life.
Yeah, because okay, so when they were in the sauna, this is how little anything was explained. I was like, Carlo, you're a perv. Also, do we even know this woman's name? Also, who's this woman who caught them? And then it just cuts
who Carlo
out.
Came there with it.
Yeah, I know. And
but
then
it's not who you come with; it's who you leave with.
That's not the right quote, and it's from All the Prominence. It's not who you come with; it's who takes you home.
That's the same thing.
It's not though, because that's an exact quote from all 4 movies.
What if you don't go home? What if you just?
I'm just saying that but you're saying that that is an actual quote from all 4 prom night movies.
I tried, Emily.
Well, you've tried and failed. But
right, so we see Edwige.
Her name is Magda in this movie. Right. I do not like her haircut in this movie.
No, I didn't either.
I thought it was cute.
I mean, I like the pixie cut. I used to have a pixie cut, and I think I carried it better than her, honestly. I think Edwige is the most beautiful shut the fuck up. I think she is the most beautiful woman on earth, but I just don't. She's still beautiful. I just the hair. I don't.
Yeah, I was not a huge fan of her look in this movie.
But I did like that she blended her makeup very well. Because I made note of that because I do contouring when I do my makeup sometimes. And I was like, I didn't do any today because I was just working.
Obviously.
Okay. But she was, making sure she was blending the makeup. And then that's when I realized, that girl's name was Lucia. I guess the other woman's name is Patrizia.
Yep. Patrizia.
Because you see Patrizia
the last new girl. She's no longer the new girl with the arrival of Lucia. Yeah, right. Because Carlo just shows up with Lucia. And then we see the boss lady.
Gisela. Is it Gisela?
Well, I thought they called her Meyer.
That's her last name.
Yeah, that's her last name.
Her name is Gisela Meyer. And she's married to this
the fat guy.
The disgusting, impotent, gross.
Is that like Maurizio or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's his name.
If it was English, it would be Morris.
Yeah, it's Mauricio. No, it would be Mo. They call him Mo because Mauricio. There's a Mauricio on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's Kyle Richards' husband.
Okay,
you know the Kyle Richards from the new Halloween movies. Also, she was the little girl in the original Halloween.
A girl named Kyle.
Yes, she was the little girl in the original Halloween.
I don't understand famous people.
The little girl that Annie's supposed to be babysitting.
In the original one.
Yeah, but she comes back in the new ones. But
when Annie gets stuck in that window.
Yeah, but she's a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, and her husband's name is Mauricio. But anyway,
I hope she never.
He's the hottest house husband of all time. So just thought you should know.
So the boss lady shows up and she's like, "Hey, Lucia, come to my office." And I have written down blonde model. I think that's Patrizia. Fat guy is Maurizio. And there's 2 girls making out in belly dance garb. They're showgirls, and
that's because
they go to because
Gisela and it's the husband and Gisela, I think.
No, he's got Doris there.
Oh, okay. Well, they're having dinner.
Yeah,
at a strip club.
He's trying to get more wine. The Bond's like, "No, give me a taxi." He pays, whatever.
Then it cuts back to Carlo getting someone to get out of, is he pushing Edwige down to give him a blowjob?
Well, they're in the dark room and Edwige is like, "Oh, should I be a model?" And he's like, "No, you're way better off being a photographer." And they kiss, and she goes down on him. They leave, they're making out some more. Somebody breaks in with a flashlight. There's a stranger in the lab and they take negatives. And there's this fountain that's always in it. And 5 times there's this pretty fountain.
Why did I say hilarious fainting Lucia?
I don't know.
Okay, well, she fainted at some point. I thought it was funny.
So we see that.
Oh, it's when I think it's right because she's hanging out with Mrs. Mayer, the Gisela.
Well, it's first Mario, the assistant from earlier, takes this stolen picture upstairs to the killer. And we know he knows them.
I don't know who Mario is.
Mario was the gay guy that gets killed next. but they were working together. He stole a photo of all the people that worked at the studio for the killer. And why is it always J and B they're drinking?
Why would the killer need a picture of everyone that works there when you find out who the killer is?
Because the killer works there.
So she would know who all works there. She wouldn't need a picture.
Well, yeah, but she gets the picture, and the killer pulls a knife.
I guess that's to throw you off the track.
So the next day,
it's fucking stupid.
So the next day, Patrizia shows up to Mario's house, knocks on the door, but finds him, calls the police. He's
can we also mention that he was found with his pants down?
With his pants down. It looked like, was there something shoved in his ass?
I think I missed that whole scene.
I think his ass might have been bloody.
And that's not the first time. I believe there was another one where the dude was found with his pants down.
Like another movie?
No, same movie.
Oh, it's probably the
Stefano has his dick cut off, I'm pretty sure. Him and Doris get killed. They're like the last kills.
Yeah, he does have his dick cut off.
But yeah.
I do love, what's it, Mario? I love his face, like, as you know, she was like stabbing him. It was like this big giant like O face.
Oh,
Mario does have his genitals cut off as well.
I even drew like an O face.
Maybe his genitals were cut off and stuffed into his own ass.
What?
I said I even drew like his face because it was hilarious.
Looks like you go and give somebody a big old kiss.
No, it's a big O face.
Oh,
God, you imagine how like weird you. Sorry, but like when you think about having sex when you're not having sex, and it's like weird to think about you having sex when you're not doing it, and how weird you probably look.
When I masturbate,
and just how it's just a weird thing to do. Like, it's not a weird thing to do, but when you think about it, it kind of is. It's just like, you're just like, and then because anyway, also once you're in the middle of it, it's like a lot of work too, but it's fun.
Imagining?
No, doing it.
Oh.
But I mean, it'll be hard on your joints and stuff. But
I saw a video of
I'm always worried about like my face.
A girl was doing the exercise that it would take to fuck somebody missionary style. And she couldn't do it for like more than 45 seconds.
I always do. I'm always on top.
I mean, doing like the.
No,
if you were a man on top, what you would be doing, the body.
That's motion. What I do. Usually how I do it.
Wait, you got your man's legs open and you're like planking in between his legs? No, but there are certain like lean back, push forward situations where I am doing all the work. Doing all the work? Yeah.
Yeah. And my legs hurt later, and they'll be like, "Why are your legs hurting?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know. What do you think?"
Fucking.
Do you remember, 5 minutes ago? Stupid.
Where were we again?
Anyway, sorry. We're talking about the O face.
Yeah. Mario gets dead. Something happens to his dick and butt. The cops are like,
I think it's just his dick, Mike. I think
butt.
You're just throwing in the butt thing.
His butt was like, I was like, oh,
probably because if he got his genitals cut off, which he did, then he would bleed into his butthole, I would assume. The blood would seep down across your tank. It would be all over that your like nether regions.
But he was the gay character. I think you were supposed to be like, oh,
I don't think you were supposed to think that.
Very featured.
Okay. Do you have anything to say? Do you think he got his butthole poked? Because I don't.
I don't think so. It was hard to tell. It was also very quick. So I'm going to say
on the kill count. It says his genitals were cut off. That's it.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Did she cut off the doctor's wing? I mean, he's the one that actually kills the fucking sister. She just stabbed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
She cuts off a lot of genitals, but it's only the men.
She found Mario, so she calls the cops. They come, and she's like, "This is my first time being here." And
wait, who said that?
Patrizia. She'd obviously been there. Once we knew the killer, she had been there the night before, killed him, then come back the next day.
Well, if you watch a bunch of giallos, like if you get real hardcore into them, like I did at one point and you did at one point, you get to the point to where you're like, I know exactly who the killer is because it makes absolutely no sense.
I never get there.
I always do because I'm like, who is the one person that it would make no sense for them to be the killer? And it's always that person. So I was like, it's probably going to be her.
Dude, I can watch a Giallo and then watch it like 3 years later and still not know who the fucking killer is.
That's because you don't know how to read.
I'm a gold.
That's just, I'm just
reading.
You're reading right now.
I'm reading right now. So then we go back to the studio and they're shooting on a motorcycle. And Carla's berating the models. And Meyer, the boss lady, Gisela, whatever, is with the cops. And this is where Lucia's like there's like an older cop and Lucia's just like flashing her panties at him. And
I think this is where we first start seeing that Gisela Mayer, the owner, boss, or whatever, she's definitely going to be one of the red herrings. They start setting that up at this point because there are 2 red herrings in this movie. I think it's Carlo and Gisela.
Carlo's a freak.
Yeah, I mean, Carlo's definitely a red herring, especially after.
Dude, I kind of thought I watched like the first hour like 2 weeks ago, and then like the last half hour yesterday, and it was like I thought when I stopped an hour in, I thought it was that beach.
She's never going to be. Well, she's never going to be the killer.
She's too hot to kill.
Well, she is hot enough to be like a vixen or something, but they never used her that way. She's always just like the final girl, I guess, of this genre.
Well, the cops ask about the doctor who had been recently killed, so they're already kind of connecting these murders with that murder.
With the doctors, right?
Yes, the doctors.
Yeah. Because they never found, like, I guess, like, they never.
I guess it was the dick cutting.
I know, but they never explain anything.
Did they ever find the sister?
Yeah, they never talk about the sister's death or if that was even something that anyone looked into. Also, by the way, if she had died at that age, they would have done some kind of autopsy. Everyone would have known Patrizia was her sister.
It's the 70s.
Whatever. They still did autopsies in the 70s, Mike.
Badly.
Okay. Well, I mean, she did have a heart attack, so it's not like there was that much more that they had to like really do to hide it. They could have just fucking put her anywhere.
Well, I've not seen a titty in like 3-minute movie minutes, so it's time for lesbian action between Gisela Meyer and the new girl Lucia. And Meyer slaps the shit out of her, and she forbids her to see Carlo again, even though he's the one that brought her to the agency.
And then I wrote cat mouse.
Well, she leaves, and Meyer leaves, and Lucia starts trying on her fancy jewelry. And we see that the killer's stalking her.
Is she being like keeping her kind of at her? That's not what I felt like it was. The situation was. She was like, I kept. Like, Gisela had very quickly made her into like her
replacing Doris. Doris has just been up till now.
Well, I didn't get that.
Yeah, she's always got one.
She's always got one of them. They're like always staying there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the killer, we get some stalker vision. There's some noises, cat and mouse, like you said.
It goes on for way too long.
And then we hear running water, which is kind of the MO of this killer, to remind these people of her sister who was left with the running water, I guess. And this is the first time I wrote this is where the first flashback.
That doesn't even, that's so stupid too. It's like, at least in Solange, the way he killed them was like putting a knife in their vagina.
Yeah.
Because his daughter was like messed up from a botched abortion. I know she didn't die from the actual abortion. She had a heart attack from, I guess, whatever medicine it gave her or something. But the running water thing, that's just how they covered it up. And they didn't even really need to do that. They could have just put her in a bed and been like, she had a heart attack. But
there was blood. So.
Who cares?
Well,
there's blood from the abortion. Yeah.
So
they should have slit her wrist in the tub, really.
Lucia goes to turn off the water, and when she does, the killer hops out of the tub and stabs her.
The old behind the shower curtain kill.
And I'm not wrong in thinking this is at Gisela's house.
Yeah, it is. Okay. That's why she's definitely a red herring at this point, because she leaves and like right after she leaves, quote unquote, Lucia gets murdered.
But do the cops never find out about this?
Yeah, I think there's like one more time that they talk to her before she dies. I think, isn't there one more time they
talk to her? Yeah. I've got it written down. So we're back to Magda and Carlo.
This scene is
they're talking about coffee.
The most useless scene in one of the most useless scenes
Isn't
I've
it nice
ever
how
seen. It's an it's
Carla opens the door.
it's an
One of them gives the
awesome-
door, and there's milk in a newspaper just sitting around outside the door. Is like,
and I do
life
love
must
the
have been
way
nice
that
in the
these
70s.
Italian apartments and villas and all these movies, like the architecture and the color schemes and the wallpaper and all that, they look really cool. However, this is a useless scene because all it is Edwige just making coffee and she thinks you should put milk in coffee. And then Carlos says that milk ruins coffee. And there's a weird shot of no reason of her getting the milk. And now he's standing on his head.
Nude headstand.
Like,
Yeah, Nick, well, I think it was the other way around. I think he put the milk in the coffee and she's like, what the fuck?
oh, she said, yeah.
And I think I'm
Oh,
with
yeah,
her.
no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because what I wrote was Edwige milk doesn't ruin coffee.
Unless it's really shitty, like gas station coffee, I normally drink it black.
Also, Carlo at this point, when he's standing on his head, tells her that this was a one-time thing. So them having sex was a one-time thing. I was like, yeah, right. And now he's a red herring, basically, because he starts putting his hands around her neck for no fucking reason.
In the newspaper in which she recognizes one of Giselle's earrings, but he chokes her and tells her
He
that
doesn't.
if they ask, no, she gets pissed. He's like, if they ask if I knew Lucia, you lie. You tell them I'm not the one that
I
brought her
didn't
there.
really get like a choking feel from him. I got that he was more just like, I don't.
Dude,
I mean, he was a little aggressive, but
I mean, it was a little aggressive, but it didn't seem like he was going to do it.
If you did to any woman that you know what Carlo did to her, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Or you might make her come.
Well,
if that's what she likes.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to mind.
She doesn't seem to mind at all.
But that doesn't make it okay.
Also, he had just been standing on his head, so I feel like you look like a fucking clown. So,
so anyway, Carlo and Meyer both end up lying to the cops about who brought Lucia. They say it was Mario that brought her around, and then they start arguing, the two of them, and we see Doris on the street, and Mr. Meyer. Mauricio, the big boy, he's like, "Come on, baby, get in my car."
Yeah, I said whenever they found the fucking earring,
he's kind of the best part of the movie.
I wrote, "Found in the trunk, clutching an earring. Cool clue. Oh, she's seen it before. Probably Gisela Mayer."
Yeah.
But wait, who was the character?
That was Lucia.
That you thought was the best in the movie?
Oh, Mo, Big Mo.
Oh, he's disgusting.
So he's really also a bad
he looks
driver.
like he has like a thumb for a dick.
There's nothing wrong with small dicks anyway.
When it's hard and it's that big, and when they're having sex with you and you say we can have sex now, and they have to say we are.
Is two thumbs stacked on top of each other?
Then that's not a thumb, Mike.
It's a long
if that's the girth of it too, that's
you want to see my long thumb.
I don't want to see anything on you, but like
look at this weird thumb wart I've got.
That I have some wart removal that you need to just take that with you because that's disgusting.
Shut up. His name's Howie. Howie the wart.
Hey, no, get rid of it.
Okay, let me borrow the cream.
You don't have to. You can have it. It hasn't been opened.
So, it sounds like you got to freeze that shit off.
It's called no that stuff. The stuff I have is like the nitro freeze like.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I know what I'm doing after the podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Wart removal time.
But
so he drives really badly out to his place outside of town, and Doris is like, "I'm not going to cheat on your wife because she's been staying with Gisela too." Somebody calls, but it's just like a prank call. They hang up, and he kind of attacks her, but she kicks him in the nuts, and then she's finally like, "Okay, let's just fucking do it, whatever." So they start getting undressed, and he starts crying because he can't get it up. And she gets dressed, and it's
run it back a little bit. He's super fucking rapey towards her. Like,
yeah,
very, very.
I try not to make a big deal out because you just told me that Carla wasn't really choking Edwige.
I don't think he was.
But he was definitely pretty rapey, and then
like he was like, "You're gonna
she kicked
fucking
him in the nuts and put him in his place."
Yeah,
right. But that doesn't.
Which I think turned her on.
But
she's then into
it's problematic. Is the way the scene is shot is problematic because it's like
I think it turns into one of the sweetest sad love.
Yeah, but that's not what happens in real life. So it like gives an impression that like guys can act like that, and it's your job to just put them in their place, and then they'll cry about it and be impotent.
Yeah, she flips the tables.
That's usually. Oh, I guess that's what movie was that?
What were we watching?
It was it was a terror firmer. Yeah,
the things you learn.
What do you call it? It's called the
turning the table.
Yeah, no, but they called it something rape. It was
flip the script.
No, they said it's like they use the term empowering rape scene or something like that.
Yeah, the empowering rape.
Yeah, because life
affirming rape scene.
Yeah, life affirming rape scene, because the girl ends up acting like she likes it, so
yeah,
then it takes the power back.
Jerk and rapey. He attacks her. She kicks him in the nuts. She gains control, and then she's like, you know what? Let's do it. And like they take off her clothes. He like starts groping her stuff, and he can't get
awful.
it up, so he starts crying. She's
so awkward.
It was so gross.
He's like, baby, you're in the money. Here's the money. And she's like, oh, I did this for fun. You can keep your money. And I thought it was she was so kind to him.
I thought she was, but I think he basically said, or someone says if she found out I cuckolded her, basically.
Yeah. But he's not worried about cheating on his wife. She's worried about cheating on his wife.
So this is where I got confused, because I was like, Doris, okay, she looks just like Lucia, who also looks like Patrizia.
Oh, we forgot the best part.
Like, when good job getting away, but now she's doing it. Oh, he's impotent. Makes sense.
He goes and gets his fuck doll after she leaves.
I was about to say he got the sad boy.
And I wrote, ew, his mom told him apparently his mom had told him that eventually one day he wouldn't be impotent. Why did she know that? Weird. Why did she know that he was impotent?
Maybe she was like, come here, my big boy.
Cuckolded my boss. They're real nice after him almost raping her, and they've been like, okay, whatever. Like, that's cool. We're fine.
So, a faucet.
I was like, wait, does he have a sex doll? He's disgusting. How was he having flashbacks about a murder he wasn't there for? Or was that all just for us? This is dumb and confusing.
There's nothing wrong with having a sex doll.
No, but
he's blowing up his sex doll and a faucet turns on.
But it looks like there's a flashback at that point.
The sister,
but then I didn't know if he was having the flashback or if the flashback was just for us. So I was very confused.
And then another faucet turns on in the bathroom.
And we know what that means.
Somebody grabs his knife and stabs him from behind with it. And we go to his wife, Gisela, IDing the body. And the cops then confront her with the earring that they found in Lucia's hand.
Yeah, it's an ugly snowflake earring. Like I said, the ugliest snowflake earring is back. Also, at that point, I realized their agency was called the Albatross Agency, and I was like, that's a dumbass. Name.
Albatross.
Whatever. Albatross. And then someone says that they made $2 million in 2 days, but it's not that much. And I was like,
it's 2 million lira. That's a lot different.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is. Like, you're right. That is.
I mean, I don't think it's quite yen. Like yen is like.
No, it's not. We had this conversation in one of our other. Yeah, but it's close. I said, but why does it matter that Magda's listening? Because now she suspects Mayor. The guy didn't say anything specific, and I doubt Magda would even be able to hear her. So that's, I guess, when the cops are talking to her for the second time.
At least you can hear the cops. She's listening to the conversation between Giselle and the cops, and she's putting the group photo in her cleavage. And then we see her in bed with the magazine and the photo she stole when there's the doorbell. But she goes and there's nobody there. And she tries to call the Italian version of 911, which I think is 999. And it's Carlo. And they kiss.
Carlo.
Bad boy. And she shows him the earring, even though she already showed it to him during the coffee milk bullshit. And
sorry, I keep getting messages from Daniel Francese, the guy that was in Mean Girls. He says she didn't even go to this school, and he was also in Bully. He's been talking to me a lot. He's awesome.
Maybe you make him feel like a real star.
He said he was talking about how he loved Night of the Creeps. I was like, you should totally be on our podcast
to talk about some movie he's not in.
Yeah.
That's my job, man.
No, I want to do Bully someday because it's like horrific, and I love that movie, and he's in it.
Yeah.
It was his first movie.
Okay. Which guy?
And he doesn't play a gay guy, and he's gay. And
gay people can play other characters.
Well, but you can tell he is. But Rachel Miner is the Brad Renfro's girlfriend in the movie. It's her cousin, the one that's always at the arcade.
Okay.
The one that like gets the bats, the big boy.
I've not seen this movie like since Brad Renfro was alive. So
he's awesome. No, he's a really good actor, and I love him, and he's hilarious, and really can play a lot of like he's like good, has good range.
We'll hook up the interview. So yeah, they're just in bed fucking again, talking about not talking to the pigs, and then we see someone in a scarf walking. Oh, it's Gisella. And then we see another person walking, and that person turns into 3 people walking. And I think it's the cops, but Carla's also walking. And it looks like the cops.
Everyone's walking.
Everyone's just walking, and it's like their nanny from fucking Muppet Babies, because you just see their legs.
You see the legs with like the striped socks.
30 seconds is just nanny vision. Yeah, there's the flashback again to Evelyn from the beginning, and we see that Meyer has a gun.
It's that guy.
Okay. Oh yeah, him.
And he's in Mean Girls. He's like,
yeah, I've seen him.
When he goes, she doesn't even go to the school.
He's the big guy.
Yeah. He was also recently on RuPaul's Drag Race Celebrity Edition that AJ from Backstreet Boys ended up winning.
You're talking about this is the wrong podcast.
I'm just telling you.
You should
it was awesome.
You should start a Drag Race podcast.
No, okay. I'm just gonna say that in this podcast and be done with it.
Cool. So back to Under the Bridge, where
are we gonna listen to Under the Bridge?
Is that gonna be the
now No, I was thinking they could be Papa Was a Rolling Stone, since the theme song is based off of Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, I kept thinking of People's Court, because I think the People's Court song is also a ripoff of Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Oh, 911 is actually 113 where they are, by the way.
Oh, I thought it was 999's England. Maybe.
I don't know. But also, did you talk about the scene that I thought was, I laughed at it, but I guess it was supposed to be a cool shot, but Bianchi or whatever, he didn't do a great job with that magnifying glass up against her eye.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know that was supposed to be a cool shot.
That's before Carla scares her.
Yeah, because remember when in Strange Vice, there's that really cool shot where George Hilton is wearing the sunglasses and you can see the other guy in his sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
And that's like a really cool shot. I think he was going for that with the magnifying glass. It just didn't. It was just looked dumb. It was just so clownish.
So I'm sure we're going to get there later after the movie, but Andrea Bianchi did one of the first like Italian zombie movies that he did a Burial Ground. I mean,
Burial Ground's ridiculous, but it's so not good. Fun. It is, but it's not a good movie. To watch. It's like, I can't remember like guy's name that looks like that little boy, like Peter.
The old man, little boy.
Yeah, he looks like this little other dude. Anyway, whatever. That bites his mom's tit off. Yes.
Good shit. So Gisella has a gun. She's under the bridge. Carla's like taking pictures of her, and she gets stabbed, but the cops run up then for some reason. Carla runs off, but somebody's following in a car, and he dumps his film into a trash can. And good thing he does, because his camera gets run over and he gets hit. But there's a cop right there. And he's still alive. Carla's still alive. The cop helps him, shoots at the car some.
Once again, I just want to say at some point I took this note, which brings us back to what Jeremy said at the beginning. I said, obviously this is connected to the agency, duh. And then parentheses RO, and that abortion gone wrong at the beginning, I guess, but whatever. Because I like at that moment, I remembered that there was that at the beginning, because I kept forgetting that beginning scene even fucking happened.
Yeah.
Because they didn't, the way that they used the little like flashes of it didn't make me, it didn't make me remember the beginning.
Andrea,
no. And I mean, weren't the flashes were
listening to us?
I mean, the flashes were so quick, though.
Yeah, I didn't really notice them.
I probably would if I wasn't taking these notes.
Also, there were too many tidy whities
That's what
in
people
this
wore
movie.
then.
I don't give a shit. My dad wears them too, but like it doesn't
My
mean I
dad
want
does
to
too.
see them. Like,
Am I like I'm 41? Do I need to start wearing tidy whities to feel like a real man?
no, gross.
No.
And also, did y'all feel like these? Mike, don't be weird about it.
Okay.
I know, but like,
It's hard.
I know all these movies have weird sex scenes, but this one was really like borderline pornographic to me.
Was
Like,
this
it
the
was a
one
lot
where
more
like there weren't a
hardcore.
whole lot of notes that I found on this movie? Was this the one where he actually got like a hard on?
Yeah, he got a boner. Yeah, I have the quote.
Who Carlo did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like he felt really bad about it because they made them do it so many times, and then she was like down there and like I'll read the quote about it. Yeah.
That's sad.
No, he felt bad. I don't know if she felt uncomfortable, but he felt bad
Yeah.
because he was like, it probably is making her feel uncomfortable, and I feel bad.
Whoops.
But
You know what call a cut? I call a cut. I'm a director.
okay, so Gisella's dead.
Gisela gets killed. Yeah.
But
Now Carlo's in the hospital getting stitches, and then
I said Magda will take over now. Thanks.
he's in his room and he calls Magda Edwige, and the cops are looking for him. Well, he tells her, hey, go to this film that I dropped in the trash can at a certain place, have it developed. And Edwige drops her purse, somebody's chasing her, like watching her, and she stalks up to her, she almost gets to her before, like Edwige had to open a gate or something to get out of her complex. I'm like, oh, she's gonna get her. No, she didn't get her though. But she gets the film, goes to the dark room. When the lights go off, and the killer's there. We know that, she doesn't. Carlo calls from the hospital. The killer's entering. The lights go out, and Carlo's like, oh, get this gun from this place and go check the fuse box. And he's on the phone the whole time. So for some reason, a light almost falls on her, kind of like terra firma. I was like, oh no, she's going to get electrocuted by that light. She doesn't. The killer pops out from behind a poster, and Carlo hears the scream, can't get a hold of her, so he hangs up, gets dressed. We see the killer burning the film that didn't even show them. It showed this other guy, Stefano, who I didn't know was a goddamn character. So the blonde Doris, not Patrizia, is watching the news about these murders when a man named Stefano comes in, and apparently he's been blackmailing Gisela, I guess. But Carlo shows up at the studio. He sees the film. He can't find Magda. He finds the print and sees Stefano. So he goes to Stefano's house. Stefano hits the blonde lady because she's asking too many questions. Then he grabs some J&B and drinks that.
Yeah, too much of that.
The killer is coming inside.
Also, they said Gisela was 32. That bitch was not 32 years old. She was 45. Like, and she was pretty, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, for a mid-40s lady.
And then
her name's Amanda.
But when they were doing the whole like cat mousing with Edwige, I was like, my God, like we know she's not going to die. Edwige never dies in these movies.
Yeah, she didn't die.
She never dies. She's always the final girl. I don't need to see y'all running around for 30 minutes.
I like seeing her.
And I said, are we just now meeting Doris's abusive boyfriend?
Who has been blackmailing?
Yeah, but I'm like, how are we? How is this? What do we have left? Like 20 minutes in the movie, and we just now meet this abusive boyfriend?
I'm almost out of notes. So let's finish them, right? So there's a glass cutter used to get in. Then Stefano off screen struggles with the killer. The tap's running. Doris walks in, sees Stefano's corpse, and then gets stabbed. The killer walks out and drives off just as Carlo's showing up. He enters, sees the bodies. And this is where we see dick and tip mutilation. And he kind of looks around the room. Holy shit, Magda's in this fucking house.
Yeah. So, I said, wait, did Magda get knocked out?
And then she's holding a bloody knife.
And then I wrote, okay, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting on the motive for this.
Carlo hears sirens.
Don't slap me.
He slaps her away.
She says that.
And carries her
Don't slap me.
Carries her to a fountain where he wakes her up with a fountain water.
He takes her to Doris's.
The cops go in and see the dick mutilation.
And then I said, these cuts to the murders are weird and confusing.
And we get some Carlo exposition. He's like, Steph was blackmailing Giselle, but he didn't kill her because he's in front of her in the photos, and the killer came from behind. So he goes to some place. I don't even know where the fuck he went, but he goes someplace and he's like, oh, Magda, wait here in the car. That's really smart. And we see this suit of armor moving, and the killer is grabbing the sword from this suit of armor, which I like that. Like, ever since I was a kid, I thought suits of armor were cool, and I always wanted to take the swords. Normally, those swords are bolted to the fucking suit of armor, but not in Italy. So Carlos sees when he's in this house, I guess it's Patrizia's house. I don't know, but he sees a picture of Evelyn, the dead girl, and Patrizia, the killer's sister. He sees the picture, only to be attacked, but not badly hurt by a big sword. But he's like kind of knocked out or whatever, and the killer runs, and Carlo hears Magda screaming, so he starts chasing the killer on foot. Magda's okay too. They're doing this weird thing. The killer goes up these stairs, and they're both at the same corner, but I think Carlo knows the killer's around the corner, but the killer doesn't really know Carlo's around the corner. So they start struggling. He punches the killer, I guess, in the fucking helmet, and she falls downstairs. And he takes off the helmet, and it's Patrizia. Oh, and she explains that Evelyn was her sister, and Carlo had helped dispose of her body and introduced her to the doctor. I think it was Carlo's baby. Because Carlo was like, yeah, I don't know whose fucking baby that was. When him and Edwige are back in bed talking about it. And then he chokes her again. Playfully, I guess.
That's what I read. I go, I said, oh, it's sex time for comfort. Rape, JK.
But then, so the very, very end, they start about to make love, whatever. And she's like, yeah, that would never happen to me. I'm on the pill. And he's like, I know another way it would never happen. And he starts joking like he's going to put it in her butt. And she's freaking out. And he's like, oh, just kidding. Credits.
It's really
like a little anal joke to end a movie.
So I don't know if the Tubi version was dubbed or not, but I couldn't get it to work for me.
Oh, I had to watch it all in another language.
Okay, so all right, yeah, I watched it in all Italian too. So it was
it was with English
subtitles. Then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, we just watched it.
I was gonna say that.
Mike,
I would not have understood shit.
I didn't watch it on Tubi. I watched it on Amazon, and it was.
I did.
I have a goddamn Italian degree.
How did you watch it?
I watched it with subtitles.
Oh, okay. So I don't know.
On Amazon.
Okay. So kill count. 1, Evelyn. She dies of cardiac arrest during an abortion at 1 minute. 2 is Dr. Giulio. I don't know how you say that.
Dr. Giulio Di Casti.
Stabbed to death and genitals cut off with a switchblade at 6 minutes. Mario Ferrari also is stabbed to death and his genitals are cut off. I spelled genitals wrong on this note thing. I do not know why, because I don't know how to spell it. Anyway, that's at 24 minutes. 4 is a Lucia Cerezer, whatever. She's stabbed to death at 37 minutes. Maurizio Pizzari is stabbed 7 times from behind in the abdomen at 55 minutes. Gisela Mayer Pazzani is stabbed to death at 1 hour and 5 minutes. Stefano is how you really say Stefano?
I would say Stefano.
That's what I would think. Yeah. He's stabbed and his genitals are cut off screen at 1 hour and 24. But Doris is also stabbed to death and her breasts are cut off at 1 hour and 24 minutes.
That breast looked good. The breast looked fat.
Yeah, no, I know it did. And then Patrizia dies from injury sustained when Carlo knocks her down the spiral staircase at 1 hour and 35 minutes. So that's 9 deaths. So the trivia director was Andrea Bianchi, who was not only a director of some kind of shittier movies, but he was in Demons. He plays the guy with the half metal on his face. And he's the killer in Blade in the Dark.
Okay.
And he's briefly in Tenebrae.
So he was in that crew.
Yeah, he was friends with all of them. And I think he worked. I think not only was he in Demons, but that was, even though I know that's a Lamberto Bava movie, like Argento and Bianchi and like two other people.
Michele Soavi was.
Yeah, they had a lot to do with like writing it and stuff. So the theme song is a sound-alike song resembling closely to the song "Papa Was a Rolling Stone" by The Temptations. So that's probably what I'll use. You know what? I'll probably just use the theme song. Who cares? I don't know. We'll see.
People's Court.
So here's the thing about the sex scene with the boner. The sex scene between Nino Castelnuovo, who played Carlo, and Edwige is explicit. And he said he got a boner when she kissed his body. Quote. So this is going to be kind of broken English because I think he doesn't speak English very well. So he said, we are kissing, and then at a certain point, Edwige lowers herself. The camera is in close-up on me, and it is clear from my expression what Edwige is doing. Bianchi must have done 15 takes for this scene, and at the end, you can suspect for yourself what might have happened, that everything opened up and Monsieur came out. I didn't have the words to apologize to the actress who found, he said, I didn't have the words to apologize to the actress who had found this ... thing on her face.
So does that mean just like it came out?
It touched her.
It
I
like
think
hit her in the
and it
face.
hit her in the face. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
It was just like zip and
boing.
Yeah. There's not a lot of trivia on this because I thought this was really funny. So one of the pieces of trivia was that this movie is one of several collaborations between Bianchi, the director, Massimo Felicati, who both
that was hilarious,
screenplay, and Franco Dellicoli, who is the cinematographer. They only had one movie. I did a deep dive because I was bored at work into trying to find anything else that they had done together. And it was one other movie that was called My Father's Wife. It's also called something else, but it's a drama. You'd probably like it because it turns into stepmom shit. Yeah. It's from 1976. However, Franco Dellicoli or whatever
of the Hill.
He was a cinematographer on What Have They Done to Your Daughters, which was with Massimo Dellamano, which came right after Solange.
Okay.
And it's a lot. That's the one I think it's a little bit like Solange. And he also did Macabre in 1980. Lamberto Bava's Macabre, and Rats, Nights of Terror.
That's fun.
And Ghost House, who it's a movie with Umberto Lenzi, who I like. I think he did one. I mean, maybe he was the one that did Cannibal Ferox.
I think so.
I know that he did Seven Bloodstained Orchids, which is a giallo. But so yeah.
Yeah.
And Massimo Felicati has done a lot of stuff. He's he also, he said, this is what he said. He did not wish to be seen as having solely written this film and gave the director, Andrea Bianchi, credit for the story in order to deflect his role and not have to bear full responsibility for the script.
I was just reading that.
Did it do well?
No, it was, most people thought that it was like
soft one.
Like Skinamax and very skimpy on plot and whatever, but it is cited as an influence on the development of the American slasher film genre. Quote, it's the perfect bridge to the American slasher film with its emphasis on violence and sex and a plot dumbed down to the barest minimum.
Well,
it's true. I did have something else that I'd written, but I don't know where that piece of paper went. So I had like a piece of paper that was random, like that had like maybe that's it. No, it's not that. Yeah, it is.
Is that the one?
Maybe. I think it just says, it might have just been like
it's got orange rating.
Yeah. Yeah, it is compared to Solange, but more sordid. And then there was another quote that says, IGN wrote, infamous shocker that packs more grisly violence and sexual depravity into each frame than just about any other film. I don't think that's true. Listen, it might be true, but it was so fucking stupid in my opinion that like I was kind of like everything bad that happened, even that like rape scene, which should have been, I mean, almost rape scene that turns into not a rape scene or whatever. Like, I didn't even feel anything about it because I was just like, this is
awkward.
Stupid.
It was just awkward.
Like, yeah. And the sex scenes were weird. They weren't hot. Like, they just weren't. They weren't sexy to me. The kills were stupid. You could have literally just watched the beginning and the end and then fast forwarded and just watched the kills.
I'll take Nude at We Jenny Day.
I mean, but you could watch any. She's in like fucking so many other movies, and she looks better because she doesn't have that dumb haircut, and she's naked in every single one of them.
Yeah, she's naked a lot in this one.
She's naked a lot in all of them.
She insinuates oral when she gets down on her knees in the studio.
That's what that insinuates, Mike.
Well, as someone who takes notes on every goddamn thing that happens.
Yeah, you especially take notes on that stuff.
I'm cool with them fucking for a while because I can just write fucking. And that's it. Like until they're done fucking.
Yeah. I just was like, this is one of the, at least with Scream from 1981.
Oh, come on.
Which is coming out before this one.
Come on. But this is way better of a movie than that.
I know, but it is better. But what I'm saying is I had to watch that movie to understand what was going on at all because it was so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
But have
you seen Scream from 1981?
I cannot say that I have.
You probably have it, and it's really hard to find. It's got like old cowboy actors in it, but I have a VHS copy, so I had to let Nick borrow that, and then I couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to download a torrent of it, and it's god awful. But it was a plan to get him to like Scream from 96, so I put them in the same recording. So I was like, there's no way he's gonna like this one more than
I had more fun with this than Scream.
Shut up! No, you didn't.
I had more fun watching it.
That's because you're into porn or whatever. It's not a better movie.
It's not a better movie, but it's more fun.
What did you think at the end, Jeremy? It's a shitty sponge.
I said before, it's just I forgot about basically the entire mode of the movie. You really don't have to watch anything.
That's how I felt. I mean, yeah.
Boobies.
You need to know who Carlo is.
Right.
Because he has to do with the body.
Right.
And you need to know who Patrizia is because she's the killer. And I guess there need to be a couple models there to make the modeling agency seem real. But but why, I still don't understand. So who gives us the motive? Is it Patrizia or is it or does someone say it after? Because I couldn't remember.
It's kind of a mix. Because Carlo is
but she says
Patrizia tells Carlo that was my sister. But Carlo's the one that was like, oh, did we mention there were supposedly lesbian lovers?
That she and her sister were, but then if he knew that, how did he not know they were sisters?
I guess he just didn't think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's a plot.
It's a fucking sex murder romp from Milan.
Yeah, but it's not fun.
But like Patrizia never ever mentions throughout any part of the movie that like her sister was murdered, right?
No.
Or died. Or even died. Or that she had a sister.
That was so
who apparently she was so close with, she fucked.
Yeah, you might not.
And Carlo knew that and apparently knew who she was, but didn't know that she was related to Patrizia. What the fuck?
Well, hindsight's 2020.
No, it's not. I guess hindsight's 2020 when you're a screenwriter, and that's why he was like, "I'm going to put some of the story on Bianchi because this makes no fucking sense."
Yeah. Hey.
I mean,
check out Burial Ground. It's fun.
It is.
It makes slightly more sense than this.
Also, the
zombies are Etruscans, so like really old and decrepit.
Watch What Have You Done to Solange if you want an abortion revenge giallo.
Yeah.
Because that's
a better one.
Is really good and makes sense, and you know the whole time why this is happening, and the deaths are in a fashion.
No, it makes sense for her to kill Carlo. It makes sense for her to kill
the doctor, but it doesn't
the
make
rest of those people.
Right. There's no connection between any of
It could have shown a scene of like Patrizia finding her sister's diary or like a box.
Or if it seems like she wanted to kill. Well, she wanted to kill Carlo already.
She was saving him for last.
But it seems like maybe if those people were about to uncover her, like, figure it out or something,
right,
then she would kill them and that would be the motive. But they don't give a fuck. They don't even know.
Yeah.
And none of them really seem to care because I guess this is only over like 2 days or something, because you'd think these people at this modeling agency would be like, I'm out, y'all. Like, everyone's getting murdered.
She could just blown it up, set it on fire or something.
I just don't know why because none of them had anything to do with it, except for if she had said something like, my sister was also a model and maybe Carlo got her pregnant.
I think Carlo did.
But also, she was tainted by the modeling agency. She worked there before Patrizia did or something like that. That is not what is said in the movie. That is not something that's a plot point.
Right, but that could make sense. Yeah.
If she had been like,
you've been in the writer's room.
Like this never would have happened.
Like if she started working at the modeling agency only after her sister died, like she had gotten a job there on purpose so she could get back at them because she thought that, the modeling agency had tainted her and done all this shit.
Do that.
Which now that I'm thinking about, that probably was what the thought process was. I mean, I could see that being the reason.
But they didn't communicate it very well.
But they didn't say it at all, so.
Yeah.
And that's just a guess.
Instead, they just put in the fountain 5 times.
Yeah. And then showed running water a bunch.
A bunch of running water.
But that was horrible imagery and symbolism, whatever. Jeremy, what do you rate this one out of 5?
Oh, man. I'm going to be generous.
Getting the gentleman.
I'm feeling really bad. I'm very torn on what I want to do with this one.
I gotta give it a 1.5.
That's generous. Yeah, I'm giving it it's shot. I think it's pretty. I mean,
it is.
But just because giallos are, it's Technicolor. They use the color. The colors always pop in those movies. It's not necessarily because of the cool shots. Bianchi doesn't really do cool shots in this movie. Like I said, there was that magnifying glass scene that I think he thought was going to look really cool on screen, and it just looks stupid, or whatever the fuck that guy was standing on his head. But I think I'm going to give it a 1.5 or 1.75, a loose 2, maybe, just because it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
I'm a 2.5. I'm normally more generous.
Yeah, you're way more. That's pretty low for you.
2.5. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I did like that. Unless I wanted to wink it to the beach.
It wasn't as long as, if I recall, I'm going to look it up right now. How long the movie was. I don't feel like it was as. I was about to say I don't.
136:58.
I don't think it was as long as giallos normally are, which they're usually around. It's an hour and 38 minutes. They're usually around an hour and 45, an hour and 50 minutes, which that amount of time I know doesn't seem. It doesn't seem like a lot, actually. Or it could have taken away 10 minutes and just added more.
Well, that was the other thing. I feel like it could have taken away 10, 15 minutes that we didn't need to see.
Yeah, and just said things in some of the scenes, had some dialogue or something in some of the scenes that explained something at all, ever.
Yeah, it didn't.
There was too much cat and mouse in it, in certain scenes, with Doris, I think with Lucia, there was too much cat and mouse with her death, and there was too much cat and mouse with Edwige. I was just like, all right, I'm cool. I can fast forward through this because she's not going to die. And I'm going to be honest, I did fast forward through it.
I thought she had died until I saw her alive.
And why was Gisella's house full of beer mirrors?
Oh yeah, she had that weird collection of Americana beer mirrors.
Yeah, but even in maybe it's because
it reminded me of that.
Maybe Maurizio picked that out.
Her apartment reminded me of this movie that I watched with Dennis Hopper, and it's called The American something, the American Friend or something like that.
That's a dumb name.
No, it's like a classic. I don't know. It's
The American Friend.
Shut. No, it's not. I will. I'm going to tell you what it. It's Waterworld. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Waterworld. It came out in like the 70s or 80s.
Stay gagged on naked headstand.
No, yeah, but no, we already got our
in your coffee. Stay gagged on movies you can't remember the fucking name.
I'm
of.
fine. I'm gonna find it. Shut up. I'm looking it up right
American
now.
Friend. American Friend. I'm gonna fill this time with American Friend.
Actually, it is the American Friend, 1977.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's called the American Friend. It has Bruno Gans in it and Gerard Blaine. But it's a classic or whatever. The director's Wim Wenders, but it's about this guy Dennis Hopper who deals in forged art, and but he's American, and he suggests this. There's a picture framer guy over in another country. I think it's France. And he wants him to be a hitman, and he convinces him that he's dying of this disease, but it ends up that guy is sick. And
American Friend.
But then he ends up really liking the guy, so he feels bad that he's like gotten him to do all this shit and like tricking him.
Cuts off his balls and
no, he doesn't do any of that. But it's a really good movie. You should watch it. But there's a lot of imagery in that movie because he like Dennis Hopper's walking around this European city with a fucking cowboy outfit on all the time. Okay. But so like there are a bunch of like there's like he's always seen in this saloon type place, like where it looks like a place in Europe that thinks that they want to have something that looks like the Wild West in America.
I think that's a thing. They also have like Irish pubs everywhere, even here. I guess.
Well, they have them in Ireland.
Well, just think it. Instead of an Irish pub, we're going to the saloon. We're going to the American saloon.
How many fights do you think that there are actually there are in Irish Irish pubs, like real in Ireland, like daily, probably like all the time?
Americans?
No, in Ireland.
Irish people in Ireland going to pubs.
Don't you think they get in fights a lot?
He's from Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really asking you.
I mean,
you're Irish, aren't you?
No, so I'm actually I'm Swedish and English.
So you have but you live
a little bit of Irish. Yeah, I guess so. A little bit of Irish, Scottish.
I have way less. I mean, everyone has a little bit of Irish in them, but I have way more than people in our area do. Like for the like compared to other people that live around here.
I mean, I've gone to bars before where I've literally seen like bar fights, like when there's like a fight, it's like a dust cloud and it just gets bigger, and like literally that's probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. But yeah,
it makes me think of like Always Sunny. Yeah, there are fights there though because no one's really ever at the bar. So
they just fight each other.
No, I just wonder how bad, like in actual Ireland.
Maybe they're real nice.
No, I don't think. I think they get in fight. I think there's a reason that there's like people think of people fighting in Irish pubs.
I apologize to any Irish listeners.
I don't.
I do not share.
We're all. It's a question. And all of us are a little bit Irish. So
I've been to England and Scotland, and I've been to bars in both countries. I don't know. Everyone seemed kind of nice.
I've been to England, I've been to Scotland, but I've been to like Switzerland and Germany and France and Holland and Austria, Italy.
I've been to Italy,
Japan,
Greece, France.
Oh, I've been to France, yeah.
What about, did you ever go to the Netherlands?
That's Holland.
Holland is Belgium.
Amsterdam.
Holland is Belgium and
Belgium is pretty much just like Belgium's it's a melting pot of French and Dutch, like so. Anyway, whatever. Do you have any Boston stories you want to tell us?
About naked Italian ladies?
No, but I was asking him the other day. I know I had this is staying in the podcast because I want this to be on this because I was like, how much is The Departed? Like how much? Well, obviously you're not. Well, maybe you're an undercover cop. We don't know because Leonardo DiCaprio, he doesn't even. He supposedly, his records are fucking washed. So. We don't know, but I was like, how much is it really like that? Like when not like it is when they're at the police station and not like it is when they're going to meet Jack Nicholson and shit, but like
South Boston really
when Leonardo DiCaprio is going to his cousin's house.
I mean, I'm a
And they're all like
suburban
racist,
kid, man.
like it's because they're Puerto Rican. That scene where he's like, they're dumb because they're Puerto Rican. It's like
So
that
all
doesn't
the
even
Puerto
make
Rican
sense.
listeners out there.
No, well, it doesn't even make sense. The whole point is that guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I rolled my eyes at The Departed just because it was so bad. Like,
it's the only movie he won an Oscar for.
No, I know. Like even
I love it, but
I like the original.
I think he won an Oscar for The Departed because I think the Academy thought back and was like, no, I think they were like, we should have given it to him for Goodfellas instead of I think that's when like Last of the Mohicans or something won.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump won against Pulp Fiction. But I think that the Academy was like, we fucked up. We should have given it to him in Goodfellas or Taxi Driver or something else. And so we're going to make up for it by giving it to him for The Departed. Because it's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I think it was just the accents. It was just the accents that were way overdone. And the dude
I
that was
don't think Mark Wahlberg's accent was overdone. I think he just slipped back into his like real accent.
I still think it was way overdone. Like, I don't know.
I think he just has an overdone accent.
I bet Scorsese's like, come on, sound like you're really.
No, he didn't. Actually, Martin Scorsese just told him to just.
Emily was on set. Everybody.
No, he said he said that he told him to go. Like he told him to just, go back, like lose his accent basically. And then when he came in and started talking, he was like, "We're gonna have to fucking have subtitles for you." Like when I said that, I didn't mean like become unintelligible. That's what I meant to say.
I don't know. Oscars.
I don't know. I feel like I'm considered like one of the worst. Like I don't know. They call themselves like mass holes. Like I'm like the worst mass hole out there because, like I don't know, Boston people drive me nuts.
Oh well, then then Nick would love you because Nick fucking hates Boston.
And that's I mean I love the city.
He hates it.
Like the city itself, I love it, but a lot of the people in it, like especially Boston sports fans, are awful. I'll be the first one to say
the Celtics, but I love the Celtics.
Hey, I love the Celtics too. However, the Celtics gagged on themselves tonight.
Oh, they lost.
They lost.
They were down like 20 with like 5 minutes to go.
Shit.
Well, I called Philly and Denver for the finals, so I'm sorry.
Well, are you doing fantasy this year?
Yeah, that shit's over. You got to finish fantasy before the playoffs start because your pool of players shrinks.
I didn't know you did it this year. Well, I haven't been invited in a couple of years. I was the
second place.
Oh, who won?
Harold fucking murdered me.
Well, anyway, so stay gagged on Ed Weege. It's Bush. Not our Bush, whatever.
Sixers won, man. Sorry.
I think he's fine with it.
Stay gagged on spoilers.
My heart was already ripped out once the Bruins choked. Like you know what? I'm going to keep that to myself. But
would you say that your co-host is more Bostonian than you, or like cares more, or is like less hateful towards it?
Do you like the Patriots?
So, I'm a baseball and hockey fan.
Okay,
I like baseball. I
like this, and and I like the Celtics. I'm a casual football fan. I
don't like football at all.
I wish the Patriots well, and I've enjoyed watching them over the last 20 years. But deep down, I'm a Bruins guy. I'm a hockey guy.
I bet there's some mean parties when they were winning all those Super Bowls.
He said, But I bet hockey games are better fucking fun to go to there.
Oh, they're so fun.
Have the Ice Bears here. That's like shitty the minor leagues of.
Brought to you by the Knoxville Ice Bears.
They're still like kind of fun to go to, but it's the same place they have the circus. So, but yeah, so Jeremy, once again, why don't you let us know about your podcast a little bit? Because I think you should talk about it just a little bit because y'all should really check it out. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's Fans of the Dead. You guys are more weekly than we are. We cover a movie a month. We also do countdown episodes where we count down. We pick a topic like last month. We just dropped. No, it was this month. I can't even keep shit together. We did Evil Kids. We've done best kills.
Yeah, we save those for our Patreon. We do those like the ranking stuff.
We try to go with like the theme of whatever like holiday of the month is. Like we're gonna be doing one. We're recording one on Saturday, pregnancy woes for Mother's Day.
Whoa.
Yeah, next year I planned a whole month of mommy issue movies. This year it's Don't Go in the House, which is actually just came out, but yeah.
But yeah, we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell it's called now, Google Podcast, Instagram, Fans of the Dead Podcast. We're on TikTok, Fans of the Dead Pod.
So you figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I notice it'll. I see your stuff when sometimes I only get on there to post my thing, and then I'm like, I have to get off because if I start getting on there for too long, I'll be on there for hours.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I'll end up swiping up for like an hour and a half, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" Just looking at TikTok.
And then it tells you to take a break, and I'm like, "Fuck, you don't tell me what to do." Like, I hate that. It's like, why don't you apparently Disney Plus, if you watch something for too long, because I don't have Disney Plus, because Netflix will be like, are you still watching? And I'm like, yes, bitch, I know. It's been a long time. I've been sitting here for a long time. But Disney Plus will tell you to like get up and go take a walk. But no, the same thing. TikTok will, if you've done it for long enough, they'll be like, maybe you should take a break and go, do something else besides being
Disney and TikTok are like targeted towards children.
Not really, not my algorithm. Like on the podcast one, it's scary stuff, but on my personal one, it's all about Scandival and like reality television, like what's happening on Vanderpump Rules right now. So hot gossip. So stay gagged on all that, and stay gagged on Giallos, and stay gagged on Jeremy, and stay gagged on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me with a Knife Podcast. Twitter, Gag Knife Pod. Become a Patreon for member shoutouts, early access to episodes, bonus exclusive episodes, and fan requested episodes. Go to www.patreon.com/gagmewithanifepodcast podcast and buy our merch at gagmewithanifepodcast.com.
That's right.
Okay. And we'll see you later. Jeremy will be back for our next Giallo.
Jeremy rules.
Jeremy's the best. Because now we forced you to like watch Giallos.
Yeah. Hope you like these movies.
Yeah.
We don't care.
All right. See y'all later.